What if I told you that the carry-on luggage industry has been measuring your carry-on bag one way for years, knowing full well that the airlines were about to start measuring it a completely different way, and that the difference between those two measurements is costing travelers $60 to $100 at the gate every single day at airports across this country? The manufacturers knew, the marketing teams knew, and the people who actually fly every week, the road warriors, the consultants living out of overhead bins, they've known for a long time. They've been quietly buying different bags, avoiding certain features, watching casual travelers get pulled out of the boarding line and hit with fees that didn't exist 2 years ago. Here's what most people miss. The carry-on rules didn't change. The enforcement did. United deployed automated bag sizers at 35 airports. AI-powered cameras now measure your bag in 3 dimensions as you walk through the boarding lane. Southwest killed its bags fly free policy after more than 50 years. American raised checked bag fees in April. And the bag sitting in your closet right now, the one that worked fine last summer, might already be non-compliant. And you won't find out until you're standing at the gate with your boarding pass flagged, unable to fit your bag in the overhead bin. Here's what this video is going to do for you. We're counting down 7 specific carry-on features that are actively costing travelers money, time, and sanity in 2026. I need to warn you, the feature at number 1 is something almost nobody thinks about until it's too late, and by then the damage is already done. Number 3 is one the luggage industry has been getting away with for years, and if you've bought a bag recently, there's a real chance you fell for it. Every item on this list is something the frequent flyers already avoid. Today, you catch up. Hit that subscribe button, because every week we post videos that expose what the travel industry doesn't want you to see and help you fly smarter, lighter, and cheaper than everybody else in that boarding line. Here are 7 carry-on features that will cost you real money in 2026, ranked from expensive to absolutely devastating. Number 7. Hardside without TSA-compliant locks. The security gamble that destroys your own bag. This one sounds minor until you see the aftermath. TSA agents have universal master keys designed specifically for TSA-approved locks. If your Hardside bag doesn't have one and they need to inspect your luggage, they will break the lock, cut the zipper, and if it's a hardshell case, they'll pry their way in. You get your bag back damaged, and there's no reimbursement coming. Every road warrior who's done this knows it. Jesse Newgarden, founder and CEO of Dollar Flight Club, puts it plainly. Look for a product with a tough metal shackle or cable that can handle rough baggage handling, and make sure it's TSA approved. Here's the thing. Hardside luggage is the better choice if you're protecting electronics, cosmetics, or anything that could get crushed. Luggage repair experts confirm that hardshell bags, whether they're polycarbonate shells or ABS construction, are easier to move around, but their exteriors crack and split with minor shocks or mishandling. So you've already chosen a shell that's vulnerable to force, and then you're putting a non-approved lock on it, which guarantees force will be applied. That's not security, that's an invitation. Here's how to actually use it. Before you buy any Hardside bag, flip it over and look at the zipper pulls. If you see a small red diamond symbol on the lock, that's the Travel Sentry certification, the actual program that creates those TSA master keys, and it means the lock is TSA compliant. If you don't see it, walk away. A $15 Travel Sentry approved lock from any travel shop solves this permanently. Why does this get overlooked? Because luggage companies know that the word lock on a product listing sells units. They don't care whether that lock works with airport security or works against you. That expensive Hardside bag probably sitting in your closet right now? Check the locks tonight. Number 6. Heavy base weight. The silent killer on international flights. Most domestic carriers enforce a carry-on weight limit between 17 and 22 pounds. That sounds generous until you weigh your bag empty. A heavy, Hardside spinner with a built-in frame, 4-wheel housings, and a telescoping handle can weigh 12 to 15 pounds before you've packed a single shirt. The testing backs this up. Airlines like Ryanair, Wizz Air, and EasyJet enforce strict limits, and several international carriers cap cabin bags at 7 to 10 kilograms. That's roughly 15 to 22 pounds total. Here's what gets people. Some airlines are now combining your carry-on and personal item into a single weight allowance. That means your 15-pound roller bag and your 8-pound backpack together are already over the limit before you've added your laptop and water bottle. On Delta, you might carry a 13-kilogram roller bag on board with no issue, but on Lufthansa, that same bag gets checked because it's over the 8-kilogram cabin limit. Same bag, same trip, different airline, different outcome. Here's how to actually use it. Grab a luggage scale, they're under $15, and weigh everything at home. Weigh the bag, empty, first. If it's over 9 pounds empty, you're giving up a third of your allowance to the bag itself before a single thing goes inside. Why does this get overlooked? Because luggage companies market durability and features, not empty weight. They'll show you the luxury interior lining and the reinforced corners, but they'll never put the empty weight in the product title. And if you fly internationally even once a year, that bag you're currently packing is probably already pushing limits you didn't know existed. Number 5. Small, exposed spinner wheels. The convenience trap that breaks in the real world. 4 little spinner wheels sticking out from the bottom of your bag. They glide beautifully across the polished floor of a terminal. And that's exactly where the sales pitch ends and reality begins. The Travel Pro Rollerboard, the trademarked design that literally invented the modern carry-on wheel system, uses larger inline wheels recessed into the frame, and there's a reason that design has survived decades. 2 larger wheels recessed into the frame outlast 4 small wheels sticking out into the world. The field results don't lie. Spinner wheels struggle on rough roads, gravel, cobblestone, curbs, and the gap between the jet bridge and the aircraft door. They get stuck, they wear down faster, and because they protrude from the bag's body, they're the first thing to snap off during rough handling. 4 wheels with housings also weigh more than 2 larger wheels plus 2 plastic feet. Doesn't sound like much, but combined with the weight issue we just covered, every ounce stacks. And here's the part nobody mentions. Those exposed spinners add to your bag's total footprint. When airlines measure depth, those little wheels sticking out past the bag body count. A bag that measures 8.5 inches deep in the body suddenly measures 9.25 with the spinners. That's enough to flag the automated sizers. Here's how to actually use it. If you must have spinners for airport convenience, look for recessed spinner wheels that sit flush with the bag base instead of protruding. If you're a one-bag traveler who walks from the terminal to the hotel, inline rollerboard wheels will survive years longer. Why does this get overlooked? Because the in-store demo always happens on a smooth showroom floor. Nobody rolls the bag across a parking garage or a cobblestone street before they buy it. That spinner bag you're currently wheeling through airports is losing millimeters of wheel every trip, and you probably won't notice until one snaps off at baggage claim. Number 4, bulging external pockets, the inches you forgot to count. If you're starting to see the pattern, if you're realizing that the luggage industry has been designing bags for showroom appeal instead of gate compliance, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps this reach people who are tired of paying surprise fees because a manufacturer misled them. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you're exactly the kind of viewer who belongs here. Starting in 2026, major airlines began enforcing carry-on dimensions that include all protruding parts: wheels, handles, external pockets, compression straps, everything. That external shoe compartment on the front of your bag, those oversized side pockets designed for water bottles, that hanging organizer clipped to the exterior, all of it counts toward 22 by 14 by 9. The compliance data backs this up. Airlines are telling travelers to place the bag upright as it would sit in the overhead compartment, then measure height from floor to the top of the extended handle, width at the widest point, including any external pockets, and depth, including wheels. Many bags marketed as carry-ons no longer qualify under this stricter interpretation. The bag was sold to you as a carry-on. The listing said carry-on. The store put it in the carry-on section, and it doesn't fit. Here's how to actually use it. Before your next flight, pack your bag the way you normally would. Fill those external pockets. Clip on your accessories. Then measure the total profile, not the bag body, the total profile. If any dimension exceeds your airline's published limits by even a fraction of an inch, those AI scanners will catch it. Why does this get overlooked? Because external pockets are a selling feature. Every luggage review praises easy access and organizational pockets. Nobody mentions that those pockets add 1.5 inches to your bag's width and push you into gate check territory. That bag with the clever external compartments probably sitting by your front door right now? Measure it packed. You might be surprised. Number 3, misleading carry-on size marketing. The measurement lie the industry built its business on. This is the one that has been costing travelers money for years, and most people still don't know it's happening. Until 2026, luggage manufacturers routinely marketed bags based on the body size alone. The dimensions on the product listing, the ones that said 21 by 13 by 9, those measurements did not include wheels and handles. Brands across the entire price spectrum did this. Budget bags, mid-range bags, and premium brands like Tumi, Rimowa, and Briggs & Riley all listed body dimensions, while the real-world bag with wheels and handles ran larger. The real-world testing confirms it. Airlines now measure the complete bag profile. Wheels add 2 to 3 inches of height. Telescoping handles add more. A bag marketed as 21 inches is actually 23 or 24 inches with wheels extended. And those new automated sizers at check-in counters and gates account for the complete bag profile, meaning bags that technically passed before now exceed limits by a wide margin. Consumer expert Shaler stated it plainly. For U.S. airlines, one of the most commonly used size limits is 22 by 14 by 9, and urged travelers to use a ruler to measure their bags before travel. Not the manufacturer's listed dimensions. Your own ruler, your own measurement. Here's how to actually use it. Ignore the product listing dimensions entirely. Buy the bag, stand it up with wheels on the ground and handle retracted, and measure it yourself. Total height, total width at the widest point, total depth, including every protrusion. If any number exceeds your airline's limit, return the bag. Why does this get overlooked? Because the marketing is deliberately designed to make you think the bag is compliant. The industry knows that 21 inches sounds safe. They know you won't measure it at home. They know you'll find out at the gate, and by then it's a $60 to $100 lesson. That bag you bought online last year, the one the listing called carry-on size, get a tape measure tonight. Number 2, expansion zippers. The feature that looks like a bonus and works like a trap. Every luggage brand sells expansion zippers as a feature. An extra 2 inches of packing space, room for souvenirs on the way home. It sounds like a gift. It's a liability. Gate agents have learned to spot expanded bags quickly. The visual cue is obvious. Your bag looks stuffed and bulges beyond its frame. Even if the bag technically measures within limits when unexpanded, the moment you unzip that expansion panel, you've added 1 to 2 inches of depth that pushes you past the 9-inch limit on most airlines. And the automated scanners don't care whether you intended to expand it. The gate data backs this up. Expandable luggage may fit airline dimensions when empty, but fully packed expansion zippers push bags beyond allowed size restrictions during boarding checks. That means the expansion feature isn't extra space. It's a built-in compliance violation waiting to happen. You're paying more for a bag with a feature that increases your chance of paying a gate check fee. Here's how to actually use it. If you already own a bag with expansion zippers, never use them for flights. Ever. Treat them as if they don't exist. If you're shopping for a new carry-on, look for bags without expansion zippers at all. A fixed dimension bag that measures 21.5 by 13.5 by 9 inches with wheels and handles is worth more than an expandable bag that tempts you into non-compliance every trip. Why does this get overlooked? Because the expansion zipper is the easiest feature to market. 2 extra inches of space sells bags. Nobody puts an asterisk that says this feature will cost you $60 to $100 when the AI scanner flags your bag at the gate. That expandable carry-on you've been using on every trip? Leave it zipped, permanently. Number 1. Non-removable smart luggage batteries. The feature that can leave you standing at the gate with no bag and no options. Here's what nobody tells you about smart luggage. The FAA ban on non-removable lithium batteries in luggage has been in place since 2018. But in 2026, zero exceptions means exactly that. 0. IATA. Dangerous goods regulations and FAA guidelines now require airlines to refuse smart bags with non-removable lithium batteries from both the cabin and the cargo hold. If the battery cannot be removed, the bag cannot fly. Period. Every airline enforcing this rule knows exactly what happens next, and it's ugly. There's already a documented case where a traveler had to leave behind an expensive smart suitcase at the airport because the battery needed a screwdriver to come out. Travelers have documented leaving $300 to $500 smart luggage at check-in counters rather than miss their flights. And here's where it gets worse. Gate checking complications arise when overhead bins fill and airlines force carry-on bags into cargo. A smart bag that was fine in the cabin suddenly cannot legally be checked planeside. You're standing in the jet bridge. The gate agent is telling you the battery has to come out, and it won't come out without tools you don't have. Some early manufacturers packed batteries exceeding 30,000 milliamp hours. That's over 100 watt-hours, and those batteries now violate the FAA's 100 watt-hour capacity limit entirely. The enforcement data is clear. Away redesigned their carry-on with a battery that slides out of a dedicated compartment in seconds, staying under 100 watt-hours as required. Samsonite's Smart lines, the Evo Attack and Silhouette 16 Smart, feature removable USB battery packs specifically to avoid this problem. The compliant brands figured it out. The non-compliant bags are now expensive paperweights. Here's how to actually use it. Screenshot your airline's smart luggage policy and save it on your phone. If your bag has an integrated battery, test right now whether it removes by hand in under 10 seconds without tools. If it doesn't, that bag is done. Why does this get overlooked? Because smart luggage was marketed as the future of travel. Charging ports, GPS tracking, digital locks. Nobody told you the battery inside would become a federal compliance issue under IATA dangerous goods regulations that could strand you at the gate, holding a bag that can't board the plane and can't be checked. That smart bag you bought 3 years ago, the one still sitting in your travel rotation? Check the battery compartment tonight. Your next flight depends on it. If you made it all the way to the end, you've just learned something most people never will. The luggage industry designs for the showroom floor, not the boarding gate. And in 2026, the gap between those two things is measured in dollars, missed flights, and abandoned bags. Smash that like button if this changed how you think about carry-on luggage. Drop a comment and tell me which one surprised you most. Team expansion zippers? Team misleading size marketing? Team non-removable batteries? I read every comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. I'd love to have you on this journey with us. Remember, sometimes the best carry-on isn't the one with the most features. Sometimes it's the simplest bag in the closet, waiting for you to measure it, weigh it, and trust it.